children of the night. What music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
Welcome to Final Guys, the horror podcast that just may be a figment of your imagination. I'm Jack. With me, my two imaginary friends, Hunter Shea and Jason Brant. What's up, fellas?
How are you, Jack?
See, I was always going for the imaginary girlfriends thing because it just feels like very fitting for all of us.
I think we all had those at one time or another.
Circling back to the stranger from last week.
Is a real doll an imaginary girlfriend, or can she be considered an actual girlfriend?
That's a good question. That's a deep one.
If I had disposable income, I'd definitely get one of those. Not necessarily have sex with it, just to have it in the house.
Sure. That's why you would get it.
If mine wasn't upstairs, I'd bring it down and put it on camera and show you guys.
Like, is it a viable business to like rent them out?
Oh my god, no!
All you need is like 5 real girls and 70 gallons of bleach.
Oh.
And you'll be fine.
Do you rent out a toothbrush? No.
Well, how do you clean your mop after a peep show? I mean, what's the process?
Oh, I don't clean that.
Oh, you just stand in the corner till next week.
Okay, so anybody who's new to this show, we talk about horror movies and other horror-based stuff, and tonight's main feature is going to be Daniel Isn't Real, which is available on video on demand.
This conversation isn't real.
But before we do that, we have a chat room. We'll do a live cast of this. So if you're listening to this afterwards and you really like us a lot so far, you could actually join us on Tuesday nights on YouTube. We do a live chat. You can see this thing happen live. One of the guys in the chat room likes to do a drinking game and has words for us that you have to drink every time you hear these words. And Hunter, what are those words this week?
Well, I'm going to flip the script. In the light of the opioid epidemic, I will say take some fentanyl every time we say one of these words.
Nice.
So if Jack says possess, dark, or masterson, pop 25 micrograms fentanyl. If I say imaginary dollhouse or friend, pop 50 milligrams of fentanyl. Milligrams would kill you. Micrograms. If Jason says boring, practical, or killer, go for 75. And if either of us say fight, crazy, or Schwarzenegger, 100.
Schwarzenegger.
You'll be dead before we're done.
Am I missing?
Arnie's son is Daniel.
Really?
You didn't realize that?
I had no fucking clue.
Because he didn't say get to the chopper.
He didn't sound like a moron, so I had no freaking
You
clue.
son of a bitch.
Really?
No, he's Maria Shriver's son, I guess. Right?
I would just assume Arnold has like 47 children floating around that most people don't know
He's
about.
True.
He's the housekeeper's son.
Ah,
My sperm comes from Crom.
Patrick Schwarzenegger. I'll be goddamned.
No way you didn't know that
I
going
had
into
no
it.
idea, dude. I'm like a massive
wow.
Arnold fan. I had no idea.
This
The main
is gonna change
kid-
your review.
The main kid in this movie was in the Halloween movie. I think he was the jerky boyfriend.
Yes.
He's either the jerky boyfriend or the jerky boyfriend's friend.
No, Jerky Boyfriend's friend is too heavy. He's the
Okay.
jerky boyfriend.
It's all a blur.
I basically
a lot of
forgot all
him.
the characters from that movie because they don't matter.
Actually, speaking of the Halloween movie, the girl from Monster Party, the catering girl,
Mhm.
she was the hot friend who was babysitting.
Oh, the one who he was in the closet and popped out of the
Yeah.
closet?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
This is like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. But with
crazy.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's kid involved. I didn't even know his son was acting. I'm like, my mind is blown. Never mind, this movie doesn't suck anymore. It's great.
There we go.
I would have preferred Jesse the Body Ventura's son be in it, but
Show over.
He's probably in a bunker somewhere.
By the way, did either of you, before we dive into things, did either of you ever have imaginary friends?
Not that I remember.
yes, I did.
You did?
I did. He's right there.
I don't remember
kids
ever
did.
having one, so I don't think.
My oldest had a friend named Christine, and then my second, had a friend named Gummy. But Gummy was short-lived, but Christine like eerily hung around for years. It freaked me the fuck out. I was like, stop telling me Christine's around.
I did, but I never thought it was an actual real thing. It was just sort of like some stupid. I'd be outside playing, and I was like, "Oh, I'm playing with my friend."
Oh, see, Christine was everywhere.
It wasn't like the Amityville Horror where I came downstairs and my mom saw like a chair move or something.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad Christine is gone.
Christine used to give you butterfly kisses while you were just waking up. Or something.
I would get told, you're stepping on her. You're sitting on her. She's right behind you. Can't you see her? You're like, oh my God, what do you see?
That's weird.
Knowing your kids, I would worry. I'd call an exorcist.
I know. Thank God we're long out of that phase. Now it's time for their kids to have that.
All right, you want some news?
Yeah.
I guess it depends.
Jason, you know how you were really looking forward to the Amazon Dark Tower series that they were going to make?
I mean, I was aware of it. Yeah. The Dark Tower movie kind of ruined everything for me.
Ugh.
Well, bad news. Amazon has canceled its Dark Tower pilot. They decided that it was not on the level of other large scope elevated genre series in the streaming that they have in pre-production, like the Wheel of Time and the Lord of the Rings shows that they're doing. So, see you later, Gunslinger. No Dark Tower series on Amazon.
I'm proud of them for making that decision.
Yeah, I wonder what they mean by not up to par. Like, the scripts they had weren't good, or
it sucked.
I don't know. They're putting a lot of money into this Lord of the Rings thing, and I love the Lord of the Rings, and I don't think they need more Lord of the Rings stuff. I think they're thinking they're going to have the next Game of Thrones, and I don't think they
Everybody
are. But
knows
who
that
knows?
story.
No.
Like, you're not going to improve on the movies. So, the Dark Tower still has to be done, and there's so much shit in those books. You could do freaking 20 seasons. I mean,
maybe Flanagan will do it on Netflix.
Just spend the next decade working on it. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. So, yeah.
I got to read those books. I've only read the first one.
Oh man, I think it's the sixth one. There's a plot twist that like my mind just exploded. I haven't recovered yet.
See, the first one I read, I hated it so much. I'm like, why would I ever continue with this? But then I realized he wrote it when he was young.
It's like in the 70s or something like that.
I think he was even working on this pre-Carrie. So I was like, all right, maybe I need to forgive that and move forward.
I am never reading it. Put it right out there. I'm watching.
Shocking.
I'm watching The Outsider on HBO. Really enjoying it. I will probably never read that book, even though watching the show is making me want to read the book. But I'm gonna have seen the show. Good enough.
I'm probably gonna read the book again because I just want to like study it this time and try to understand how he got me so invested within like 50 pages.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Well, speaking of Stephen King adaptations,
more.
Are you familiar with the network Epix?
Yes.
Well, they're working on a small screen adaptation of Jerusalem's Lot.
Oh.
Now, not Salem's Lot.
No, the
it's
short
like
story.
The prequel, the short story, yeah.
And
look at
Night
you.
Shift.
So I never read that. But it's going to have our friend, what's his name? Adrian Brody.
Oh.
Is that his name? Adrian Brody?
It's a Brody, right?
friend
There's several
of the show,
Brodys.
Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody, yeah.
And Nigel Buck.
So we're at 10 episode straight to series order with Adrian Brody. Let's see if I can find a... the series is set in the 1850s. It follows Captain Charles Boone, who relocates his family of 3 children to his ancestral home in the small, seemingly sleepy town of Preacher's Corners, Maine, after his wife dies at sea. However, Charles will soon have to confront the secrets of his family's sordid history and fight to end the darkness that has plagued the Boones for generations. So,
I'd watch that.
How linked to Salem's Lot is this?
Dude, it's been a while since
It's like separated by like 90 years or something. Or I don't know.
Is it like
about the novella? Jerusalem's Lot? Yeah.
Like, is it just it happens to be a spooky place, or are there direct things that will show up in Salem's Lot?
There might be.
I don't think there's anything from Jerusalem's Lot that shows up. Is there? Like no buildings or anything? Not that I can think of.
Like the Marston House?
No.
I would feel like the Marston House had to show up in this.
Didn't Jerusalem's Lot take place in like the 1800s or something? And,
yeah.
1850s.
Oh, 1850s. Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah, and if I recall, most of it was in like journal form or written letters. Like a guy was writing letters to someone about the crazy shit that was happening.
Was it epistolary?
I don't understand your fancy words.
That's the way Dracula was written.
I think so. I mean, dude, it's been a long time. I don't even remember what that was. Was that Night Shift? What was that in?
I think it was a Night Shift. I'm pretty sure.
See, now, chances are I could read that.
Yeah, because it's short.
Not like 16,000 page books.
Right.
You should read Night Shift. You will understand cocaine if you read Night Shift. So,
there's quite a few of his books where you totally understand cocaine.
The Mangler, oh my god.
Yeah,
I saw the Mangler in the theater. My god.
By the way, everybody, Steve Barnard is in the chat. Steve, I want you to hang on and make sure that you stick around for my review of your book.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Not going to reveal anything until it's time.
Hammer is coming down.
Dummies! 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 No.
My last piece of news is the best news of all.
Okay.
Does anybody here watch that show Lucifer?
No.
Or are you familiar with the show Lucifer?
My mom does, which is why I don't.
I think it's now on Netflix. I think it went off of whatever was on Fox. I never watched it. Trisha Helford was brought onto the show, and I thought, that might pique my interest. However, it wasn't enough. I've never seen it.
Favorite Cylon.
Well, they're going to be doing a special musical episode of Lucifer.
Oh.
Called
like
Bloody Celestial Karaoke Jam. And we're going to watch it because Debbie Gibson is going to be the guest star on it.
Get the F out of here.
Electric Youth, baby.
If Tiffany comes in just to show her boobs, I am beyond in.
So I have to watch a musical episode of a show I've never seen. I'm so excited.
Oh, what would it be? 40 minutes?
I love musicals.
That'd be fine.
If Lucifer sings Shake Your Love, it'll be the greatest.
Shake your love.
I just can't shake your love. I like the pause. I just can't shake
your love. I would watch that. Absolutely.
Look, Debbie Gibson saved the Sci-Fi Channel single-handedly. Well, with her friend Tiffany and her, that fight in like,
oh crap,
Mega Crocodile versus Robo Alligator, whatever it was.
Yep, you're right. All right, I'm down.
So,
oh, by the way, I have other news. Now he's not in the chat tonight. Tim Meyer.
Oh, that guy.
You know, he had the Aperture Hour podcast. They just did their 100th episode, which is also their last episode. So, yeah. He, I think he's got more writing gigs to do, so he can't keep up with it. So, I say let him go out with a bang. Everybody tune in. Go Google Aperture Hour podcast and listen to the last episode, just so you can give him a good thank you and farewell.
We got to get him on here.
And then buy a Tim Meyer book.
Yeah, Tim Meyer has to get on here now that he's free. And unlike his show, there's no prep for this, so come on in.
His perspective on movies is so hilarious.
Oh my God.
2 thumbs up every episode.
Amazing. He suggested the Greasy Strangler. Just remember that.
That's true.
He has a Greasy Strangler shirt.
Yes, he does. That's right.
I've been very impressed with that. All right, so Aperture Hour. Farewell and adieu, your fair
Congrats
Spanish
on 100.
ladies.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yes, he says it was actually episode 99, but he's pretty sure he might have deleted an episode, and ending on 100 sounded better.
You know, speaking of content that just came out, we just put out a Monster Man all about some book called Slash by our special guest this week, Hunter Shea.
Yeah. We weren't that drunk when we did that episode. It was all good.
I'm drinking like a Bud Light Platinum in it.
That's what I just finished drinking. By the way, I brought my cooler up into the Belfry tonight.
The Belfry?
I'm a bat in the Belfry. I was up in Mystic, so I got a can of Natty.
Oh, God.
Ooh,
Or Narragansett, I mean. Not
Quint.
Natty.
Crush it like Quint, baby.
Natty?
Exactly.
What is that?
Narragansett. I'm sorry. I was thinking
Yeah,
Natty
I was like,
Ice.
you're drinking Natty? Damn.
No, it's Narragansett. It was right by Rhode Island, so it was
Gansett.
Gansett. Exactly.
That's the official beer of Quint.
Yep. Arr.
And I just said farewell and adieu to his Spanish lady. It's so meta.
It's all coming together.
Oh, man.
All right, roll the thing that takes us from one thing to the other.
We have such sights to show you.
Okay. This is the part of the show where we go around and talk about all the stuff we watched this week and other things like that. So Jason always watches more than me and Hunter because he has no
This
life.
is true.
And we envy him for that. So you go first.
Well, I finally got to go back and revisit Ready or Not, which I had not seen since, when did it come out? August, maybe?
We did too.
Oh.
I just didn't put it on my list. We watched it with the family.
Even though we just talked about this 2 weeks ago, I just wanted to mention again for anyone who hasn't seen this, this movie is freaking great. It's just so much fun. I had to show my buddy who I do so bad it's good with. He had never even heard of it. I'm like, dude, it's amazing. So
he's seen Tammy and the T-Rex, but he hadn't heard.
I
of
make
Ready
him
or
watch
Not.
way more bad movies than he has time to watch good movies. So basically
Poor
ruining
guy.
his life. So I'm not going to talk about it long just because we've mentioned it how many times in the show now. But Ready or Not I think we all agreed, was it our number 2 or number 3, something like that?
It was my number 2.
It was
Oh,
my
that's
number
right, you
2.
guys, your period synced up for the last like 8.
Totally
it was
synced.
it was number 1 on my list, and I actually moved it down just because I had to give Flanagan credit for pulling off what he pulled off.
Same
But
thing I said.
I will watch Ready or Not way more in my life than any of the other movies on that list.
I ordered the Blu-ray when we did the episode.
Yeah.
As we were doing the episode of the best of 2019, I ordered the Blu-ray.
How's the
God,
Blu-ray?
watched it. It's awesome. Movie is just
awesome.
amazing.
Any good extras on it?
I ain't got time for extras. When movie's over, I go right to
So
bed.
that's it. Go get Ready or
So-
Not. It's like $6 to rent right now. It's a freaking steal at $6.
Or like $10 to own
Do it.
on a physical
Do it.
copy.
So what'd you watch, Hunter?
Oh, I went back to the time of our births. Well, actually, after sometime in the 70s, Jack. You ever hear the movie Phase 4?
I have not.
It's kind of ringing a bell, but I could not tell you what it's about.
There are no movies phases 1, 2, or 3, by the way. It starts at 4. Just so you know.
There's no movie Close Encounters of the First Kind, so
No, none. So this is my kind of movie. This is the shit I grew up on. It's killer ants. So there's this event that happens in space, and it makes ants in a certain area, specifically in this part, the desert, where they gain super intelligence and a hive mind, and they start invading the town. They immediately evacuate everybody. Like, get the fuck out. Everybody leaves with some farmer. And they build the ants build these like structures. They look like organ pipes in the desert. And these 2 scientists, this is a major thing that might destroy the world. So let's assign just 2 guys.
Yeah, of course.
And they put them in the desert in this dome where they're trying to battle the ants using science and technology versus the ants.
using science, we'll battle these ants.
It's awesome. You get ants crawling out of people's bodies, like they're burrowing holes out of their bodies and pouring out of them
Is
and
it
stuff.
gruesome?
Not really gruesome. It's the 70s. You know, this is like, I'm sure, a drive-in movie theater, so it's not too gruesome. This movie holds together, and you love it until the end turns into some like hippy-dippy weirdo shit. You're like, what the F just happened here? But all the way until like the last 5 minutes, you're down with it because there's one scientist he's going to go through with, he's gung-ho. He doesn't care who he has to kill, who has to die. He wants to find the answer to destroy these ants. And of course, he's been bitten. He's hiding his hand that's getting bigger and more gruesome as he goes along. There's like a farm girl who gets trapped and she's staying with him. It's a cool movie. This is total This is like Empire of the Ants, Food of the Gods. If you love all that stuff, you're gonna like Phase 4.
Anybody famous in it?
No. Some minor fame, but like I say, it's a cool movie. I
don't think I've even heard of it.
Yeah, it's one of I think it was on Amazon Prime, and I was like, holy shit, yes.
Very nice.
I remember a TV movie from the 70s about killer ants. It probably was just called Ants, but
probably. I love ants. Empire of the Ants. Them. Anything with ants. I don't know. Bugs. Tarantula.
Tarantula.
Jason's like, idiot.
Just waiting for it to end.
That's a tarantella. It's about a tarantula.
There was a TV movie in the 70s, Tarantulas, The Deadly Cargo.
Yes. Oh, crap. That's great.
Should see if that one's on YouTube or something.
Oh, I picked that. I know. Vinegar Syndrome, I'm sure, is putting it out as we speak.
All right. I watched the 2019 remake of Rabid, which is the Cronenberg film from like 1977.
Yeah. With Marilyn Chambers.
I pay-per-viewed this in December to get it in to see if it was going to make my 2019 list, because on our website, Steve Barnard, noted author, has a review of it.
We don't know if he's noted yet.
I thought this movie was okay, but I read another review of this, like on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm just going to steal what the person said. They said, right when they should hit the gas, they hit the brakes. And that's how I felt. Like, it's pretty good. It's worth watching, but I thought it could have been better. And for me, the ending was a little flat. Like, it kind of took its time getting where it was going. Then it kind of goes nuts. But then right when it really could go over the top, it kind of pulls back, and then it does some stuff. So I thought it was fine, but it doesn't make... It's not like a must-see. The thing is, though, I saw Rabid. And I don't know what somebody who didn't see Rabid, the original Rabid, would think of this movie. Because there's some wacko stuff in Rabid that shows up here, but they kind of wait a while till it pops up, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. And so I'm wondering, if you have no basis of reference, are you just like, what the hell is going on in this movie? Or does it make sense to somebody who doesn't know?
Did they get a porn star? Like, no. I get Autumn Falls. She's my favorite.
So Laura Vandervoort, I think her name is. She was Supergirl. She's like this beautiful blonde girl. She like looks like. This is the funniest part of the movie. She plays like this wallflower who's in the fashion industry, and so she's like the shy one who can't get ahead and has no. And she's got like a little bit of like a skin thing before she has her car accident or her motorcycle accident and really gets screwed up. But before that all happens, she's still a knockout, and she works in this office with supermodels, and she's like the loser or whatever, the shy one. She's hotter than everybody for 1,000 miles.
Wait, do they still put the vampire in her armpit?
That's the thing where it kind of shows up later, kind of out of nowhere. And
that's amazing. That's an amazing decision.
Yeah. Because when I rewatched Rabid recently, I kind of forgot a lot. I hadn't seen that Rabid since the like 80s. So I forgot most of it. And so when I started watching, I'm like, oh yeah, this has that weird thing. So there's some of that in there. And I felt like they wait till later to really unveil it. And then they don't go really far with it. Like I said, they did not stick the landing for me. But I think it's worth checking out. But I wait till it comes like on Netflix or something like that. Or
that's two movies in a row who didn't stick the landing.
Yeah,
but we also say watch it.
But on our site, Steve Barnard loved this movie. So you have two differing. I think it's okay. He loved it. So.
Yeah. Well, if you're in that camp, that's a fucked up camp.
Yeah, I guess I'll watch it then.
I want to slide to the Tim Meyer camp. It's safer.
So for our weekly or bi-weekly SBIG viewing, I made my buddy watch the 1995 classic Mosquito with Gunnar Hansen.
Oh,
No, not Mansquito.
Not Mansquito. No. That was like
Which I
mid 2000s. Beautiful film.
I remember Mosquito.
It's a bizarre movie. It's obviously I'll do a deep dive during So Bad It's Good, but it's a lot of fun. There are really crazy B-movie effects at times, and then other times they're really good. And then there's Harryhausen stop motion in 1995. And then there's some cool gore effects, and then there's the most ridiculous gore effects ever. So it's odd. It's something I remember watching years and years ago and thinking it was a lot of fun. But I have the Blu-ray of it now. I got to tell you, there is no point in owning the Blu-ray because this movie is so out of focus for at least 50% of it that it looks like you're watching a VHS.
They had to shoot through mosquito netting to be safe for the.
That is
the
so bizarre.
I wish my Blu-ray must be downstairs. When I opened it up, I think it was Synapse put it out. I think a little piece of paper falls out that says, basically, this movie looks like shit. It's not our fault. Yeah.
What?
Yes. So,
okay. I'm only paying you half for this, and it's not my
apparently, it was shot with two different cameras. One was 35 millimeter and one was 16 millimeter. And the guy who was doing the special effects just walked off one day and never came back. So he was like going for cigarettes and just never came back. So the movie is like, it's like black and white. You'll be watching a conversation with two people. One dude's way out of focus. Next guy's razor sharp. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's special.
That's on the Blu-ray.
Yes, this is the Blu-ray.
Jesus Christ.
glad I spent the money on that one. But it's still a lot of fun. So if you like B movies, this is going to be up there for you. It's just a giant mosquito attack movie with Gunnar Hansen using a chainsaw at one point. So you could do worse. It's a couple bucks on Amazon. You might dig it.
We should combine our video shelves and just it'd be just craptacular.
We're horror fans, man. It's
junk
just
we
95% garbage.
But we love the garbage.
It's true.
All right. Well, I watched the movie that Jason, I think you watched, The Headhunter.
Yes,
I saw that.
So, did you? Oh, so we've all seen it now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to go too deep into this because it's already been done. This is treading ground we've already walked upon. But it's about this medieval dude who is called by the king every now and then to go out and kill monsters and then sticks their heads on the walls. And this whole thing is waiting to get to this monster that killed his daughter, which they don't show. I don't know how the man who made Thanks Fucking Killing could make a movie for $50,000 that looks like it was made for $10 million.
Yep.
There is some secret alchemy in there. It was gorgeous.
It's unreal.
I mean,
like, you would not know how much that was made for.
No, it's lush. It's absolutely gorgeous. Once he gets to the actual monster that is after you, go, oh, all right, I can see like the Thanksgiving coming through here. But I mean, it's a one-man show basically, and man, it was so good. If I watched it last year, that might have made my top 13 list.
Wow.
Even knowing, especially knowing it's the next step from Thanksgiving. How do you go there? How do you do this? And how do you do it for no money?
Yeah.
That guy should be running a class to show people how to do this shit right. It was
it
really
looks like the camera
amazing.
he shot it on should have cost more than the budget of the entire film.
Exactly. And I mean, just absolutely stunning shots. I forget where he filmed it. It was somewhere in Europe.
I'm not sure.
But man, absolutely gorgeous. It's gorgeous to look at and just a cool movie. And only like an hour and 10 minutes or something, really short.
Not a whole lot of story or words.
No. Yeah,
characters.
But that's all right. It was cool to watch.
I want Blumhouse to give that guy $5 million just to see what he can do. If nothing else, the movie.
Holy crap! He'd make the next Avatar for $5 million.
Oh my God! He could do like an Avatar version of Thanksgiving.
Oh God!
At an hour and 10 minutes, I'm in. Don't give me. First of all, I don't want any more Avatar.
They're making like 4 more Avatar movies.
Oh, good, because the public is crying out for more of those.
Unbelievable. Okay, so on a lot of the best of 2019 movies, I kept seeing a few titles show up and I watched this one. Like the Shockwaves people, there was a couple of people raving about this movie.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Knife and Heart, or it's Knife plus Heart.
Right. It's on my queue.
It's on Shudder.
European gay porn. I'm in.
Yeah, so this takes place in the summer of 1979, and basically it takes place in the gay porn industry. There's like these people who make gay porn movies, and basically it
we've all been fluffers, so we're into this.
It's a retro. It looks like an old kind of Italian horror movie. Once again, somebody's gone for that aesthetic. So it's got that old slasher vibe to it. They don't really shy away from the whole gay porn thing.
Thank God.
It's right there. So Hunter, I mean, you're going to feel right at home.
Fucking bananas and pajamas.
Bananas and pajamas. What?
I've been drinking.
I felt like this movie was a movie critic pick and not a movie fan pick.
Oh, that just disappointed me.
For me, I was like, okay, I was bored. It looks good, artistically, and I'm not freaked out by the setting or anything like that. It just kind of like was just okay for me, but I forgot about it. Like I was kind of looking at my watch. I don't see what the big deal was, but I get it if you're a student of film watching this going, oh, look how good it looks, or there's things to like, I think, on an artistic level from it, but from an entertainment standpoint, I was like, eh. So
that's
watch
the best lit pegging scene in history.
Yeah, so it's on Shudder. Check it out. But for me, once again, I watched something to see if it was going to make the top list, and it didn't come close.
I would have liked it more if the frontage was more up front.
Yeah.
You should have known better than mention gay porn in front of this guy.
That's it. I can't stop myself. It started me talking about my favorite porn star, and it's just gone to this.
He has all these terms, too, that you've never heard before, and he just drops them like conversationally. Like when he says epistolary, he's got like 25 words like that for the porn industry.
Best lit pegging scene in history. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. All right. I don't know how I'll back that up or follow that up.
Put that on a t-shirt.
So I watched a movie I have not seen since probably the early 90s. Leviathan. The 19 underwater.
Peter Weller, right?
Yes. So what blew me away the most was, one, I don't remember this movie being good at all, and it's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but it was fun. I didn't mind it. What really blew me away, though, was the cast. Peter Weller, Richard Crenna, Daniel Stern, Ernie Hudson, Hector Elizondo, and Meg Foster star in this movie.
Jesus. Meg Foster. I had a moment with her in an elevator.
You've told it on this show like 4 times.
I have. I can't get over it. It's her picture's right over there.
God. So this is the story of a deep sea mining operation of some kind that finds a Soviet vessel at the bottom of the ocean, and they go in and they steal some. I don't want to say steal. Whatever. Who gives a shit? They find a chest of stuff in it. They open it up. There's vodka. There's all kinds of crap, and they start drinking the vodka, and people start getting very sick, and mutations start to happen, and things go sideways. It's fun. It's an Aliens ripoff from hell. I mean, Aliens and The Thing combined, but with much.
That also came out around the time of what's his name's movie, The Abyss.
Yeah, it's The Abyss. It's definitely not The Abyss, but it's a gorier version. And you know what? I had fun watching it. It was free on Prime, so you could do a hell of a lot worse. I remember it tanked in the box office, and people hated this when it came out, but it was worth a watch.
Well, is that the one they put out to try to tank The Abyss? Like, there was one of them that they put out to try to fuck The Abyss on purpose.
Could have been.
Like Hollywood does that. I can't remember.
I saw that movie on like HBO like 1,000 times. I think when I don't know what year that came out. I feel like I was in high school or college or something. But I watched it a million times, and I can kind of remember like the ending. There was kind of some cheesy special effects at the end.
Not the worst.
Totally remember Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
But I loved that. That was one of those ones that was like, oh, Leviathan's on, and I would just leave it. Like American Ninja and Leviathan were just ones that were on all the time, and I would watch it.
Wow. Okay.
That's a great. That's
Yeah.
so bad. It's
We're
good.
planning on doing a couple of those. I will say this: the one thing that really impressed me that I did not know while watching this is almost none of it was shot underwater. All the scenes where they're in the suits outside the ship, that was what they call drive for wet, which I'd never even heard of. They just basically pump smoke and stuff in the air and use filters and different lighting, and it looks like they're underwater. It completely fooled me. I had no clue that the shot was not shot underwater. So
they did that in Lord of the Rings. If you know the part where Frodo falls in the swamp and he's like underwater and all that, none of that's actually underwater. They're like blowing air on him and
drive for air.
Drive for wet.
Like did they do that in Knife Plus Heart?
Moving on. What did you watch, Hunter?
There's real moisture in that movie.
Moist. That's for the tall one. A little bit of moist. By the way, if you like Peter Weller movies, check out Unknown Origin with him with the rat, and he destroys his house trying to get this rat in the wall. It's a great movie. I watched it a lot while I was writing Radis New Yorkus.
I have that, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, totally watch it. It's so good.
You want a deep cut for him? There's this movie called RoboCop. You should check out.
Oh, yeah.
That's
kind of heard of that. Yeah. All right, it's my turn?
Your turn.
Steve Barnard. Are you sitting down? So we have, some steady fans who do a lot for us. Steve Barnard does a lot of reviews and stuff for our website. He's always been an integral part of the show.
Absolutely.
And dropped a book with no preamble or fanfare.
Yeah, what the hell?
It's crazy. It was called Meathead, which I thought was maybe an All in the Family fan fiction book.
Michael Stevick.
No, it wasn't. Oh, God. I could quote so many things from that show, but they're all will get you in trouble nowadays. So as soon as I saw you put it on Twitter, I said, I got to buy this book. And I was in the middle of reading this really good thriller. I'm like, fuck the thriller. I'm diving into this book, Meathead, by Stephen Barnard, who is not to be confused with another Stephen Barnard who writes a bunch of other horror books. Weird. Meathead is a throwback to just pure 80s, don't go in the woods kind of crazy slasher fun. Meathead is this 7-foot tall dude who was born with no meat on his head. And his twin brother, yes, is a midget, dwarf, little person, whatever the fuck. So they this
is definitely the woke guys episode of Final Guys.
Yeah, fuck wokeness. Go back to sleep, all you fucking woke people. So anyway, you got the little guy, and he's like the ticket taker at a state park or whatever. And then Meathead kind of lives out in the woods, and they hang out in this barn together, like, kind of off the grid. And of course, there's the inevitable 20-somethings who go into a cabin. It's my uncle's cabin. It's my dad's cabin. We got money. Woo! We're gonna have a party, motherfucker. And of course, they fall into Meathead's grasp. And Meathead, you just don't want to fuck with Meathead, because there's been tales of Meathead. People travel just to find out if Meathead is real. He's like Bigfoot in the woods. So I love the idea of Meathead is an absolutely awesome slasher monster. But I like the idea of giving him an accomplice. And whenever I thought of the accomplice, for some reason I kept thinking of Sick Boy, that little guy Nazi from 31 from Rob Zombie. I don't know why he was stuck in my head.
Okay.
But I like the brotherly love between the two of them. And the kills are awesome. This is, if you are politically correct, don't fucking touch this book.
Are you saying Steve Barnard wrote something vulgar? No way.
Look, he uses the P word very often in this book, and I loved it. I love the fact that he just went for it. He went with his gut, and he just wrote. We use the word in horror, visceral, maybe too much. This is a visceral book. I had a freaking blast. Absolute blast. So the only complaint for me, I didn't have more. But it ends with hinting towards more. So I thought it was a really cool book. Anybody who grew up in the 80s, you're going to dig this. it's kind of like in your wheelhouse. If you grew up in the 80s and you're still twisted and, you might be now a corporate marauder or something by now. But if you still cling to that, you're going to dig it.
Do me a favor. Stop humping your microphone. Otherwise, I'm very curious.
What do you mean?
You bump it and then like your sound goes out a little bit.
I haven't touched my microphone.
I think it's your big giant gut or your boobies. Not sure.
Might be.
How
get to work on that gut right now.
How about if I do this?
There you go. That's much better for the listening audience.
What do they call it? AMSR?
ASMR? It's one of those.
You want to hear me? Click my pen.
I was so shocked when I was looking at your watch list so I can get all the links, which are always in the show notes if you want to see what we're talking about. And I saw Stephen Barnard. I'm like, what? That's a weird name that very much matches him. I'm like, what the hell? So when you said it was him, I had no idea. I can't believe he never said anything that he was releasing this sucker. So I am one-clicking it right now. So, okay, it's done. Everybody go check out Steve's debut novella.
It is 99 cents, first of all. So you can't beat it for 99 cents.
I'd buy that for $1.
Exactly. Minus
and
a
while
penny.
you're at it, Sheridan Bradford, who's always in here, who's making us amazing drinking words, he's got a book out. And you got the sex cult leader Pam Morris. She's got books out. So
I know.
That's a good reading here, people.
Tim Meyer,
boy, you can't just
out.
let Barnard have his day in the sun. You gotta plug everybody else. My God,
I'm gonna get so much
I'm
shit
sorry,
if I don't.
I'm sorry, Steve Barnard, that we couldn't just give you your time.
I wish that Flame Tree would package Slash with Meathead.
Wow.
Because it would make a good 1-2 punch. It'd be fun.
How many disembodied buttholes are in this story?
There were no disembodied buttholes. There's no Japanese hookers. He was very restrained in that sense. He stuck to the material, but it was a lot of fun. It surprised me how good it was.
Awesome.
Not saying that, Steve, you surprised me because I think you're a moron. It's just first-time novels and novellas. You're like, oh, okay. Those are really good. And I will be doing a review of it on Final Guys. I'm going
to write a review of it and have a big spoiler in the middle of it, like the way he writes his movie reviews.
Well, guess who had to add the spoiler to his reviews? Because I'm reading, I'm like, Jesus, okay, well, I don't have to watch this now, so I always have to put the spoiler tag in halfway through.
Done!
That's not him, that's me.
I'll tell you what, though. I love his movie reviews because he tells it like he sees it. Like, doesn't candy coat anything. I like this because of this.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, I'm all done. Anybody else have anything else?
Yes, I have one more. Yeah, I got one more. I've been playing a PC game, 7 Days to Die, which I got during the Christmas sale for, I don't know, $4 or $5. It is a zombie survival massive world game. I don't even know what you call it. There's
I thought it was the story of Alex Trebek.
Oh,
all right, this is good to know. Isn't it?
So it's basically a
what is inappropriate?
Answer.
This is like I said, a zombie survival game, but there's a lot of building, like base building and gathering resources, and you have to take apart cars to get batteries so you can build shit for your base so you can stay alive. And it's basically just something my buddies and I have been playing. A lot of grinding in this game. We've actually had to kind of modify some of it so that the grinding is less. But it's a ton of fun. Like, this game has sucked up way too much of my freaking time the last few weeks. I've had to kind of modify how much I play it at night because I end up staying up too late. But it's a blast. If you like this kind of thing, think, I don't know, Minecraft meets Left 4 Dead, but much slower paced, but still fun as hell. This is great. And if you can get it on sale for a couple bucks like I did, I mean, you're going to get your money's worth the first time you play it. I haven't played it by myself, so I can't say what it is, how it is that way, but with a couple friends, freaking blast. Absolutely love it. It's janky as hell, though, I will say that. This game is buggy. Buggy as hell, but a lot of fun. So 7 Days to Die on PC.
Excellent.
Awesome.
All right, let's get to that main.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
I love how I'm rolling that, and I can just hear Hunter wheezing in the background.
It's the way he said it. Let's get to the main feature. We've talked too long. That's it. We're going to go over tonight. Let's go over.
Sure.
This is going to be a long one. That's what she said.
Okay, so the main feature tonight is Daniel Isn't Real, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger's son,
Daniel Day-Lewis,
and the kid from Halloween,
Daniel Radcliffe,
and some other people.
Danielle Stern.
Jesus Christ.
Danielle Steele.
Great if they were all Daniels.
I saw this movie in December, so you guys are going to have to fill in. I kind of remember broad strokes of what happened. So what's the synopsis?
You want me to do it? I saw it
give
last
it to the
night.
drunk guy. I want to hear this.
Yeah. So, starts right out. Scene in a cafe. Idyllic scene. Every day in a cafe in New York. Dude comes in with a shotgun, starts murdering people. Just blasting them out of the... Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Cut to parents arguing. Little 6-year-old boy is there. He walks out with his little cat puppet. He's walking through the streets, and he comes upon the crime scene, and he sees the killer laying there, completely covered in blood, dead, hanging out the front doorway. And as he's staring at this grisly tableau, this kid pops out and he goes, "Hey, you want to go play?" So they go off and they play in the park. And then it's like a montage of the two of them playing together. And he's met this friend named Daniel. However, Daniel isn't real.
That's the title.
Imaginary friend that he does sword fighting with, and they talk to each other and everything, which is all well and good because what's her name? Mary Stuart Masterson is the mom.
Daniel Stewart Masterson.
Yes. So she's fine with it. She's a single mom as long as he's happy until the day that he takes all her antidepressants and puts them in a milkshake and nearly kills her.
At the behest of Daniel.
And blames Daniel because Daniel told him to do it. So he's told to lock Daniel in the aunt's this creepy-ass dollhouse that's in the house. Just put him in the dollhouse, lock him away, and you'll be fine. And which he does. Cut through maybe 13 years later, Daniel's about to go to college. He's trying to adjust into college life. His mother is completely schizophrenic. So she sees things demanded, and he starts seeing things. And I don't know why, but he opens the dollhouse, and out pops Daniel, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, Jason. And Daniel becomes kind of his wingman, guiding him through college and life, and things take naturally a dark turn. No, this is a movie produced by me. So that's the movie.
I like how about 3/4 of the way through it, your internet just started taking a massive dump, and now you're a tiny sliver on the screen.
God damn it.
That's amazing.
God damn it.
You sound great.
I did a good job.
We'll see if it comes back.
As long as I sound good. Nobody needs to see me. Just hear me. Can you hear me?
See me. Feel me. Peg me.
Oh, God. How did this become the gay episode of Final Cut?
This episode is awesome, by the way. We just get better and better each week. I don't want to toot our horns, but we're freaking
I don't know what you're
amazing.
talking about. I said I had you pegged for a horror fan.
Yeah. I mean, we're no
my
aperture
bad.
out.
I was surprised during your description that you didn't mention the sword crossing scene at the beginning.
The sword fighting. A lot of sword fighting in this movie, by the way.
God.
So, Hunter, did you like the movie?
I love the movie, by the way. Now, this came out last year, so it was in wider distribution, like at the end of last year. Again, this is another one. This would have cracked my top 13 more than The Headhunter. I thought it was... I love the way they were steering you in these different directions, and you just didn't know what was really going on for a while. And then when they go for it, they freaking go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was solid performances. It's amazing to see a Schwarzenegger offspring be this good.
Hey.
It kind of reminded me of what's his name in American Psycho?
Christian
Bale. He definitely had a Christian Bale vibe going that entire time.
He definitely.
If he popped on Huey Lewis in the news, I was gonna my boner was gonna rip right out of my pants.
It's not that kind of movie.
It's not knife plus heart. So I thought this is an excellent movie, man. Elijah Wood. This is a guy I actually trust. He gets the genre, and I love the fact that he has a production company that's, putting these movies out. And he's one of those guys. If I see that he's in a movie or producing it, I'm like fully in.
Some of the people that made Mandy made this.
Oh, even better.
Yep, makes sense.
What'd you think, Jason?
I loved this movie. I knew nothing about it when we found out that we couldn't watch whatever the hell we picked last week, and you just said, "Oh, let's do this." I was like, "Okay, sure." I've heard of the title, but that was it. God, did I love this movie? This 100% would have been in my top list last year. This might have been approaching top 5 last year for me. I just was in the whole time. Even like at the beginning, I'm watching the main character. I'm like, why did they get this weaselly little guy to he's just like hunching, and then as much I'm like, oh, this is a whole performance thing he's doing that is really working. And
right,
just everybody was perfectly cast, I thought, and the story did things that I didn't expect, which I don't want to go into until we get to spoilers, but I thought the story was going to do kind of an ambiguous sort of thing that these types of movies always do. You can determine what happens. It does not do that at all. It makes a hard decision, and that's the path it goes. And I really appreciated that about this. I was blown away at how good this was. I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, I was the first one to see it. I really liked it. It was on my honorable mentions for my last year's movies. I love what they did with a low budget, because there's a couple of kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors kind of things that happen in it. And that could have really hurt this movie. But I think they did a lot with a little bit of money. Talk about The Headhunter. This movie did some more ambitious stuff with not a lot of money, and they pretty much pulled it off. There's one or two little clunky parts in the movie, but overall, great flick, refreshing to get something that good. Because you kind of look at it and you're like, okay, it's Tyler Durden, at surface level, but then it goes in a different direction later on. So, and I think that's what I liked about it, was it definitely, as opposed to one of the other movies I watched, this was entertaining for a horror fan. Like, I watched this movie, it's like, yeah, that was a horror movie. Good job. I enjoyed it. So
yeah, this is Drop Dead Fred for people who've been touched by an uncle when they were young, and it's totally skewed their worldview.
Awesome. That should be on the poster.
That's on the Blu-ray.
We've got T-shirts, posters, everything's coming out of this episode.
Spectre Vision's hanging that in their offices right now.
Uncle.
So, what are you trying to tell us? You love this movie so much, and then you come out with something like that.
Hey, Uncle Peter was a little too familiar, but it doesn't matter. I got a career out of it.
We're having a breakthrough here.
It was Father Peter. Anyway,
oh boy,
it's the reason why I'm a Buddhist.
What did you think of the girl in the movie?
There was a girl?
Yeah.
Oh, Ray Dawn Chong's daughter. She straight up looked like Ray Dawn Chong.
There were kind of two female main characters that got almost equal time, because you get the kind of love interest at the beginning, and then she's gone for a good half an hour.
Yeah, that was weird how she just disappeared.
Yeah, so I thought she was fine. I really, nobody stuck out as being subpar in this to me. To be honest, I thought everybody did a really good job. Knowing that was a Schwarzenegger, my mind is still not recovered from that.
Yeah, you're just this is resettling in on you right now.
It's surprising, but
he's a thin guy. There's not much to him.
Yeah, honestly, I would have never guessed that, but I thought he did a good job too. The way his character ramped through the movie, I thought was well done. It was just an understated hanging out kind of thing, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse, and his energy gets higher and higher and higher. And man, I don't have much to complain about with this. There was even one scene I mentioned during spoilers that I was like, but it worked. So I was quite pleased.
Hunter, Go ahead.
Yeah, I liked looking in that maelstrom that it would have going, because you could see faces morphing in the middle of that. I thought that was so trippy.
Really,
man.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
The beginning
Hunter,
was jarring because they showed that, and then it goes to the shooting, and then it goes to a kid within 2 minutes. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What is this movie? This is trippy as hell.
Yeah, it just pulls the floor out from under you.
That opening scene, nice table setter.
That cafe scene. Oh my god.
Freaking out of nowhere.
Not funny.
Hunter, going back to something you said, I actually like the reason he lets Daniel out of the dollhouse is because his therapist suggests it to him.
Oh, see, I missed that part. Might have been looking at my phone.
And
I missed
turns
that too.
out that therapist probably not the best call in the world.
No.
No.
Look, I've gone to therapy. It takes a long time to find a therapist worth friggin' 2 cents, much less $200 an hour. That's the 2-cent variety right there.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I mean, if they're trying to work through your freaking psychosis, that's deserves extra.
it takes a lot, man.
It's a big search
Takes
to
a
find
lot.
somebody.
Finally found somebody and she retired on me. God damn it.
Did any of them ever get out the Tibetan bowl and start doing the golden child on it for you?
No. They were always fascinated by my Buddhism, though. Every therapist I was like, wow, Irish Catholic went to Buddhism? They always were fascinated by it. I'm like, look, I'm not here for fucking you. You're here for me. Shut up.
Awesome.
All right, so I think we all recommend this. Should we get the spoilers?
Yeah, I think
ring
so.
that
This
damn
is kind
bell.
of hard to talk about without ruining the last act.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, we all recommend this movie, and now if you don't want to hear spoilers, get out now because the spoiler bell has been rung, and we've let Daniel out of the dollhouse. Okay, somebody explain the ending to me.
Oh. Well, I mean, Daniel
Just putting you on the
isn't
spot.
imaginary. Daniel is like a demon, kind of. I mean, qualities. When the little kids saw the poor soul that was compelled to kill everybody in the cafe, he just attached himself to Daniel. But he's been around forever, controlling things and causing mayhem. And, dumb Luke thought that, if we go over the roof, I'll kill both of us. It was a dumb decision.
Yeah, I that's kind of what I was talking about. I expected this movie to be the kind of ambiguous thing at the end where, well, was he real or was he just a figment of his imagination and he was just going crazy like his mother? Which I thought was a
Right.
good setup, and that's where I expected it to go. But when it decides to pick one fork in that road, and that is the way it goes 100 miles an hour, I really appreciated that, just because I feel like we've seen a lot of those kinds of movies lately, like the choose your own adventure, what really happened kind of thing.
Right.
So I dug the hell out of he's this demonic presence that just slowly screws with people and possesses them and causes mayhem. Yeah. So I thought that was great. The whole way through the ending, yeah, what the scene I was talking about that I thought was when they started sword fighting on the rooftop.
Yeah.
Like they'd
Yep.
done as they were kids. I was like, this could get really goofy, but
That was one of the clunky things for me.
I liked it.
it wasn't as bad as I expected. As soon as I saw the sword, I was like, oh no, don't do this. Don't do this.
But it was closing the loop.
It was short too. It wasn't, they went for it. I don't know how well it always worked in that regard.
They
but
went for it. It's a tad clunky, but I don't think they got away with it.
Yeah, that's basically where I'd put it. I could have done without
What
it.
I would have liked to see, because his girlfriend was laying with his dead body at the bottom, and after Daniel jumps into the maelstrom, I would have liked to see her do a and then you end it, because now he's in her.
I think that's pretty much what we got. Like, they didn't show that part, but he
Right.
jumps off the roof at her. So
Yeah, I mean she's there.
yeah, I thought that ending was great. Just as he's going over there, I'm like, how's this gonna work again? Like, I don't.
Yeah. Way to go, sucker! You didn't beat me.
Yeah, and when the movie had to do some crazy shit, like pulling the mouth open and him like going the whole way into his body and stuff.
Oh, God.
That stuff was great. You could tell they didn't have
Yeah.
a ton of money, but they shot it just enough that you could see exactly what was going on. It was
That's exactly what I'm talking about. With scenes like that I'm like, okay, this could have been a dumpster fire, and they pulled it off. They did it fast enough, and I was so happy that it was a demon. There's a lot of movies
me
like
too.
this. A lot of movies like this are good because you're not sure at the end, were they crazy or was it haunted or whatever. Sometimes that works. With this movie, I'm very happy they were just like, nope, that was a demon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I think that's what I like the most about it, that it wasn't well, what really happened? They straight up show you what happened.
So spoiler alert, Daniel was real.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought the whole thing they did with the mother at the beginning did a good job setting up he's just going crazy. And so then when they just come right out and say, this is a demon, you're like, oh, shit. Okay, so that was all kind of a red herring thing. That I thought was really neat.
But I liked how she could sense the reality of what he was going through when he met her in the grounds of the mental home. That was cool. Hell yeah, crazy people. And, artists are kind of crazy, and in a way, his girlfriend could kind of see him, too, because she painted exactly what his face was shaped
she
like.
wasn't exactly stable. I mean...
Oh, God, no. I remember girls like that.
He ran into her in the street, and she's smashing bottles and yelling at people, then she's destroying her art. And
any girl you're talking to is just randomly dancing with no music, get the fuck out as soon as you can. It's not going to end well for you.
Those are like your zombie land rules. Those are Hunterland rules.
Yeah, that is definitely a rule for dating. Randomly dancing with no music? It was a good night so long.
Peace out. Yeah, I love the part where the little kids where Daniel convinces him to make the milkshake, because you're kind of watching it going, ooh, oh no, that's bad. Don't do that.
Yeah. And I thought they did a good job too with still along the lines of what I was talking about with it not being a is he real or not thing. Throughout the movie, if you're paying attention, and I didn't know how good the movie was going to be, so I saw all this stuff and I thought it could just be bad filmmaking, where he knows what's on the pages of books that he has not read and cannot see. That's not something an imaginary friend can do for you.
Yeah.
And like passing the test and stuff. So I wasn't sure if this movie is just doing a poor job with the imaginary friend part, or, if this is an actual being. So when it turned out to be an actual being, I was like, so from the beginning that this is something else. So they basically, even beginning when he's putting the pills in the milkshake, the kid would not know what that stuff was. So the fact that he knew to put it in there, what it would do to her, tells you that this is something else.
Yeah, I was wondering, is this kid like some kind of savant? Or is this guy actually real? So I thought that was kind of cool.
It was interesting because when he starts Tyler Durdening him and, giving him more confidence, and then
drop dead fretting him.
He does the thing with the other girl where he's like, let me drive. And then he basically hooks up with the other girl.
And the catacombs? That was weird. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I used the word hook up very lightly.
Hey, banging in a sewer is what all college kids do.
Yeah.
Doggy style in the sewer, followed by a massive beating and face burning. Yeah. By the way, what was that little table doing there with the light on it? Like that was an Italian eatery.
And they were lucky they weren't killed by homeless people.
I know, or chuds. There could have been chuds down there.
Well, there is. Chuds. Never mind.
First thing I thought of when I saw that, I'm like, it's fucking chuds.
Oh God. Yeah, that was a crazy scene too. When he starts burning that dude's face, it's like, oh, this is not gonna end well for you. Like, you're not gonna take control of your body and everything's gonna be cool. Like, you're in deep shit.
Didn't end well for the therapist either.
No. You earned that.
Anytime you're doing, you're someone's therapist and you take all these implements to their house, including is a dagger that literally looks like the one from Golden Child that he kills the demon with at the end. Like, literally looks the same. Why do we need this again? This is a bad idea.
Dude, Can I give you a story about the Golden Child? We're at the end. Nobody's listening now. This is my therapy. Okay. Back when I was courting my wife and trying to get her to agree to go on a date, I was so excited. I got flowers, a teddy bear, chocolate, the whole fucking thing. Gonna go to the movies, dinner. I go to pick her up. Her parents go, "Oh, she's not chewing out with this guy." The movie she went to see with this guy was The Golden Child. And then I left her a message, called her a bitch, and maybe the C word. I can't remember. And then she apologized the next day, and it's 33 years later. See?
Wow.
So we will never, ever watch The Golden Child in this house. Fuck Eddie Murphy. Fuck that movie. Not happening.
Okay. So are we done, Jack?
That's the movie where...
Jason, you never reveal anything about yourself. I feel like I'm always here on the couch. I want to hear next week a little background about Jason. I want to. How did you meet the tall one? Give us something.
All right, I'll give
so
you
mysterious.
One sentence. Maybe I'll do the story another time. I dated her roommate for 2 years. So I did the Seinfeld roommate swap.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
It was a hard maneuver, but I pulled it off.
And the roommate was our bridesmaid.
No.
And my best man.
She was not pleased. She was not so happy about it.
Good for you. See, that's nice.
There, I'm done.
I feel like I know you more now.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, can we stop, please?
Look, Jack and I are totally synced up. We got to sync with you now.
No, I want no part of that. I'm good.
It's Southerner.
All right. So, have we decided on the next movie? We didn't really talk about it. I had suggested one.
What was that again? What was the title?
Like a Boss. Hayek Roseburn.
Hold on. I got that. Let me open.
I might go see that tomorrow for reals.
See what?
Like a Boss.
A Serial Killer's Guides to Life.
That sounds good.
Oh, story of
Jason. It's on
Jason.
Amazon. It's like $4 or $5. Looks good.
Give away all my secrets.
All right.
That movie, The Color of Space or whatever.
I really want to see that.
It's coming out, but it looks. I was having trouble finding
limited
showtimes
release.
for it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so I think they're going Lighthouse on us with that one. So let's just be safe. See something that's on Amazon, and then.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't want to try to. Well, first of all, I didn't know that was even going to get a limited release. I thought that might be going VOD.
Straight to vids.
Yeah.
Maybe it is or whatever, but. I sent you the link. That one is actually on Amazon this week. So
Serial Killer's Guide to Life. Got it.
Yep, we're in.
Boom. All right.
And next week I'll talk about Like a Boss.
Yay!
For those who want to know. Oh, by the way, Amazon, watch Fleabag. Great show.
All right.
Not horror. Great show.
Okay. Maybe I will.
Okay.
Okay. What? Okay.
All right, and everybody go buy Meathead. 99 cents. Let's put Meathead over the top.
Meathead, motherfuckers.
Congrats, Barnard.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Game over,